The Women's Association for Women and Victims Empowerment, WAVE, held a stakeholder consultation to progress the government's efforts to ratify the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel and Inhumane Treatment, OPCAT. The stakeholder engagement took place on Thursday, 5th May 2026 at Coconut Residence in Bigelow.
And also, in light of the developments in the country, we really need to have those mechanisms in place so that measures can be taken to curb the current and continuing practice of acts of torture, cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment, and just make sure that we have a torture-free country, which is the aspiration, right?
The engagement saw a statement issued on behalf of the Solicitor General and an engaging exchange from National Assembly members and stakeholders after a presentation from an expert from the Association for the Prevention of Torture. APT is an international organization that promotes the prevention of torture.
The government has demonstrated commitment to combating torture, ill treatment through the ratification of the United Nations Convention Against Torture and subsequent enactment of legislation for the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023. However, important obligations remain outstanding, particularly the ratification of the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture, that is OPCAT, and the establishment of an effective preventive mechanism, that is National Preventive Effective Mechanism. The urgency of this process is clear. During the Gambia 2024 Universal Periodic Review, 16 United Nations member states recommended that the Gambia ratify the OPCAT. Equally, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, that is the TRRC, identified the prevention of torture and abuse of detention setting as essential to guaranteeing never again mantra and strengthening the democratic accountability.
You know that the National Assembly is not homogeneous. It's always like that. But with a bill like this, it's not controversial from my own point of view. It's usually political issues that are more controversial, but this one is not. This is human rights protection. So I believe that immediately the bill reaches us. All that is required is whatever sensitization mechanism we will have with the members that will just put them through with these stages. That will be useful. Once it reaches to the National Assembly, it should not be a problem. But my only other problem is that we are in an election year. So if we don't make it proactive, many of the members are going to be you can see he's always going out, in and out. He's consulting his people. So it will be political campaign, etc., etc. But I believe it should not be a problem. Because we've passed the NHRC, we've passed the Torture Act. So we know the follow-ups are coming. And once they arrive, they should just move on and adopt them. Thank you.
Civil society advocates exchanged ideas to chart a path forward towards the ratification of the OPCAT, which will then trigger a one-year period for the implementation to commence. This will usher in a proactive institution, possibly under the National Human Rights Commission, to address torture in the Gambia.
First, what was in the mind of government when they ratified CAT and then domesticated it into the Prohibition and Prevention of Torture Act? As our brother here highlighted, this is a system, right? The UDHR, if you submit to it, you submit to the CAT. The operationalization of the CAT requires that the optional protocol is signed. Because without the NPM, then the Torture Act has no purpose, because it cannot be operationalized. And we have evidence of that right now. Since the creation of the Torture Act 2023, it is merely on paper. Yes, I mean, the government cannot give any evidence to say torture is taking place or not taking place. And what can give us the evidence that torture is not taking place or is taking place, and there's accountability, is that there is a structure to monitor it, the implementation, and report it.
I would say that this engagement today actually, the engagement is actually timely, and it comes at a very critical moment in Gambia's transitional justice journey. The issue of the OPCAT is not a question of how do we do it. It's a question of when do we actually do it.